Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for the 6th webinar in our 2015 webinar series on DSI's digital supply chain, presented by our VP of Product Management, Jim Hoskins. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a couple of very quick ground rules and house rules for the webinar. Everybody is being muted as you enter the webinar. Please do try and keep your lines on mute for the duration of the webinar. We do have a lot of people joining us today. We want to make sure there is minimal disruption to Jim's presentation. If you do need to alert DSI, you can use the chat function. Andrew Clark is our host today. Please direct any questions or concerns to him as we go along. The webinar today is being recorded, and we will address your questions at the end, and you will receive a copy of that recording sometime this afternoon. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Jim. Thank you so much for presenting today, Jim, and we're all excited to hear about the digital supply chain.
Thanks, Ruth. Well, digital supply chain really is, hold on just a second, there we go. Digital supply chain really is becoming a wider umbrella that we're casting in the marketplace. It is all about business transformation to a digital business. And whenever we talk about business transformation to a digital business, we're really talking about taking legacy processes and taking paper processes and creating real business advantage by enhancing the execution, enhancing the visibility, and optimizing those processes. And we do that through both our on-premise and cloud-enabled instances of our platform. And it's really about taking inventory, materials, assets, labor, sales and service, and other processes, and taking those really into the digital age. And we'll go through several scenarios and talk through some use cases here in future slides. But taking those processes to a digital supply chain means faster, more accurate information, reduced latency for your business, so as real-time processes are executed through the supply chain, that you're getting instant visibility and instant execution to those processes, as well as really moving your business into the digital supply chain also means mobilizing your business and taking those processes from paper processes and manual processes and capturing information at the point of activity versus capturing information on paper and handing that to somebody in the back office and the latency in the business that occurs because of that. Additionally, it also means accepting information and processing and routing signals from information on IoT and machine-to-machine applications. And DSI's platform is very good at taking those kind of signals and doing the right things with those signals. It's not just capturing them, and it's not just processing those signals, but it's also optimizing the process and making the right decisions at the right time so that your business can actually gain advantage. And then through analytics, wrapping all that up into visibility, for actually seeing how this is transforming your business, making decisions on how you can further transform your business, and then sharing information with trading partners. So we've got a lot to talk about here this morning. But we see digital supply chain as really a concept for moving your business forward into the digital business era. I'd like to talk about really a process example of farm to table, and I think kind of a easy process for all of us to envision, because I think we're all intensely interested in our food and intensely interested in how our food gets to market and how we get it to how we can get it in a way that makes sure that I can be confident that my food is good. And an example in citrus, and I kind of call this farm to table, you know, in the wine industry, grape to glass. But there's a whole lot of other industries that are intensely interested in this, you know, track and trace metaphor, ePedigree in the pharma space, or conflict minerals in a whole lot of different spaces where companies have to be and organizations have to be very concerned about the origin of minerals, even in their electronics. So, but in this example, taking, you know, at the farm, capturing grower management information, capturing block information. You know, when did I apply organic to a field? When did I apply a pesticide? How was it applied? Maybe capturing sensor data in the field itself at that time. What was the temperature? What was the moisture? You know, how has my harvest proceeded in that manner? And then actually in the harvest, and by the way, marrying all that information into the lot information that I have for that particular lot. And then that lot, you know, is going to kind of travel along through the process as my items get added to other lots, or as my items get processed, you know, from harvest to processing, you know, as I receive, as I actually manufacture and create my products, that lot information, you know, traveling along through the process, through my packaging and inventory. So, you know, we've got you know, lots of customers that you know, use DSI's products for inside the warehouse, doing distribution activities, but also, again, capturing that and keeping that information, you know, through the process, all the way through to the retailer. And with DSI's enhancements to our products, you know, our product really now does provide, and our platform really provides a process that can go end to end, all the way from the ruggedized use of you know, in the farm, all the way through to consumer use of being able to, you know, capture information and being able to look up information on a handheld consumer device. And then taking that all the way back through the process, taking that digital thread through the process back, and you can see that lot information being that map all the way back through the process, so we can see the track and trace, and we can get my product pedigree, my product authenticity, and, you know, that we know the origin information of our food. And this is just, you know, one example where, you know, we really can work in any one of these spaces, and our platform is versatile for that. So as we expand the concept of digital supply chain, DSI will be rolling out the first module, if you will, of digital supply chain with a mobile-first, cloud-based material tracking system. And with the intent of this module is that it really will be additive to your existing system. So, for example, you might have multiple ERP systems in the mix, but you want to have a aggregated view of the information across that. And so our platform would allow you to work with those various systems and pull that information out and put it in a cloud-based system to be able to view that and be able to share that information. But built into it from the ground up would be item traceability and serialization. So that's at the, you know, really at the lowest layer, and you'll see a architecture slide here in a few slides, and you'll see that it really is intended to be kind of at that lowest layer where all the transactions are serialized to the process. And so we can very, very competently track items as they flow through the supply chain from end to end, and also be able to serialize those transactions to prove pedigree and to prove origin information. And then with the intent to really provide visibility across the supply chain, whether it's through your supply chain partners or it's through analytics, but we have, because it's cloud exposed, we also provide web APIs to be able to share that with your partners, as well as through mobile applications and web applications. So as one use case, we've got a lot of interest, and a lot of customers have talked to us and prospects have talked to us about, they've got multiple ERP systems in the mix, whether it's, J.D. Edwards or eBusiness Suite or even, others like SAP and Lawson. But they want to be able to extend or to make available that information, maybe their trading partners, but not do it in a way that exposes that source of truth. And so, or they also want an aggregated view of that information. And so with our cloud deployment of the product, we'd be able to aggregate that information up, but still be able to provide the necessary movement information, the necessary inventory and materials management information for that, but yet keeping the sources of truth intact to where you're not exposing that to trading partners. And so the intent is that the platform and the digital supply chain inventory product would be able to do that in a way that gives you confidence that your systems of record are intact, but yet you're able to get the information to your suppliers, your installers, your customers as needed. Some other use cases that we're seeing are a small organization that's not ready for ERP, but they need an inventory system of record. Maybe a cloud deployment would be a less sophisticated nature. So the platform, while it really is intended for these larger use cases, it certainly can be used for an inventory system. Also, it's going to have some warehouse management type functionality built into it. So if you have legacy systems that don't have some of the WMS functionality like LPN tracking, license plating, or directed picking, directed put away, replenishment. So those type of capabilities will be built into this platform as well. And then really virtualizing those inventory locations. So if you've got use cases for vendor managed inventory or consignment inventory, the virtual structure of the inventory locations can be really, really helpful in that kind of a use case. Beyond that, the use cases really are very interesting because one of the things that we have also added to this system is the ability to have a lot of different attributes to locations, to items, where maybe capturing modern information like geolocation or what have you to the item or to the location could be very useful. As an example, we've got one customer and one prospect that's very interested in the perpetual use of their products. So not only are they interested as it's going from supplier through to customer, but what's the use of that product after that? Where did that product get installed? What were the conditions when it got installed? Where is it, from a geolocation perspective? Because they have public interest in mind in that the use of that product long term. And so our platform would not only be able to let that customer see that order through the process from order entry all the way through to supplier making the supplied product back through the manufacturing process, and then ultimately to deliver the customer, but also along with that, being able to see that, yes, this product was indeed installed here, these were the conditions, because maybe, in the future, that customer also might find that there's something wrong with that product, or not the customer, but the vendor might realize that there was something wrong maybe in the manufacturing of that product, where they have to, for public safety concerns, be able to go in and let their customers know, hey, we need to we need to replace that product or what have you, so that they don't have another Gulf oil spill or something along those lines. So we've got several customers in the industrial space that are quite interested in that kind of perpetual visibility to their products. So in the first release of Digital Supply Chain, what you see in the light blue will be in the primary or the first release of the product, which will be it should be around the August 1st time frame. As I had mentioned before, traceability and serialization is key to the product. It is core to the platform, and so as applications are processed, as functions are done in inventory, items are received, items are processed through, items are shipped out the door, that traceability of each one of those actions is heavily recorded. And for inventory, it can be used for assets, and then license plating built in. So being able to pack items to a license plate, pack assets to a location or a license plate certainly can be used for a lot of different functionality there. And then on top of that, an analytics layer to be able to not only see the performance of your processes and get an aggregate view of your maybe even multiple inventories, but be able to see how maybe we can better utilize our inventory, how maybe we can better utilize our work staff to process things. Those again would be shared through mobile and web applications and web APIs. And also coming with that will be some KPIs and notifications. So we will have some dashboarding built into the first release. Beyond that, then warehouse optimization for more advanced picking and put away rules to be able to do directed picking and put away and order replenishment, as well as order management, being able to track that from end to end, from the sales process all the way through to the production process, and then and the purchasing process for any items that you might need. But where this really becomes powerful is being able to share that information with your trading partners and provide visibility. Well, so that is it for the presentation today. Happy to answer any questions. Did we get any questions to the process? Okay. Well, if there are any questions, feel free. I think most people have email addresses, and feel free to email in a question as well. Ruth?
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us today. We will be sending out a recording of the webinar, and there will be, feel free to reply to that email if you do have any questions for Jim or for anybody else here at DSI. So yeah, definitely look for that email later on today, and thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar, which will take place at the end of July. Thank you so much. Oh, hang on, we did just have a final question come in here. I'll read it here, and then Jim can go ahead and answer that. The question is, can you please provide details on how the temperature tracking is performed?
Okay, so temperature tracking in the field. So we've got actually some sensors around our office that we even pull temperature from. You know, there's several different ways of doing that. In our case, we've got some Raspberry Pis around the office collecting temperature and reporting that back over a web service to our system, and we can get real-time information on the temperature tracking. As far as you know, doing that in the field, you know, there's a lot of different temperature sensors that are available to the marketplace that could come back over maybe a SCADA system or something like that, where we could pull that information directly from a database, or directly from that device could be, you know, updated through our IoT infrastructure. So we will be having some future discussions on IoT and how that roadmap is shaping out. But we will you know, we can certainly capture that information and even act on that information. So you could set an alert, or you could set a process. Say your temperature was, you know, a nominal temperature of 75 degrees, and you know, a high temperature was 80. You could actually create, you know, basically look at that data, and if it gets to 80 or above, actually open a work order and issue a work order in the field, and then somebody using our field service application could get alerted to go do that, notification to go take a look at that, and then act accordingly. We also have a question on can we host on private cloud or hybrid. Currently, our cloud solution is Amazon Web-based solution. So if you're looking at private cloud, that would be you know, maybe a side discussion on how we would facilitate that. But right now, it is Amazon Web-based.
Okay, it looks like that's all of the questions that we had. Once again, look for that recording later on this afternoon, and if you do have any further questions for us, just let us know. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.